Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. I am your host Boise, and this is Raw Review for the week. We have a reformation. That's it. Reformation of the most dominant faction to ever hit WWE. We have a surprise turn on the night, and we also have a tag team championship match. This and so much more, guys. Let's get straight on with it. Let's hit the music. So first things first, we started off the show with the big dog, Roman Reigns. It's good to see Roman, and it's great to hear that the crowds are still very, very positive after last week's big announcement that his leukemia was in remission. It's great that coming out to Philly. Philly's a difficult crowd. If you've ever seen pay-per-views and shows where it hits Philly, they are very much a wrestle city. But my God, it was good to see them actually bringing the Philadelphia brotherly love towards Roman Reigns. He calls out his brother Seth Rollins. Seth and him have a few words about his match against Brock Lesnar, and Seth goes, "Look, I understand you never lost the title like I never lost the title. We had to both vacate the titles in the past. And if I can understand if you feel like you need to have an opportunity against Brock Lesnar." Roman goes, "For a guy who knows everything, you know nothing right now, my friend. I'm only going to wish you all the best. You are, for me, the guy who carried the torch, and I think you're the rightful guy. And I think you're one of the only other guys who could take down Brock Lesnar. But I'm not all about that. I'm about this. I want to reform the Shield one last time." And this is the interesting thing. They called out Dean, and the commentators started talking about Dean Ambrose, especially about his contract running out, and especially him rejecting any contracts, and that he will be leaving the company. Dean does his typical Dean Ambrose, walking around, juttering, before he's attacked by Elias. Yeah, after last week I thought that would have been it, but no, Elias continues to attack Dean Ambrose with a guitar. That's the second time in 2 weeks, guys, come on. And that led to a match between Dean Ambrose and Elias. We never got the answer for the reformation of the Shield, but it's a really good, that was for me, the tipping point for the whole night. Will Dean rejoin the Shield? Will he turn face again? He's already bloody face, we all know this, but it's just that reluctant heel / babyface turn again, which, let's be honest, Dean Ambrose is one of the most likable characters on WWE. It would have worked great if he was, for me, a great heel, but they just never allowed him to be himself with the heel gimmick, and a lot of fans were just right, we're going to turn him babyface again with the Shield, especially with Roman's return. I think it was a strong opening segment. I really enjoyed it. I liked the lingering questions, and throughout the night, both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins going backstage to see Dean and see if he wanted to do this. He kept on pushing him away, saying, I don't need this, I've got to focus on the match tonight. And that was quite good. I like that they kept on going back to it. So for me, I'm going to fit this a 3 out of 5 stars. Solid start to Raw this week. Next up, we had a 6-man tag team match where we saw the babyface team of Finn Balor, Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman taking on the heel team of Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. Obviously, Lio Rush was on Bobby Lashley's side as well, but who cares about that? Let's get straight on to the match. The match itself was fine. Very interesting match for me. Very little Braun Strowman, which for me kind of took away from this match, where Braun, when he was in it, he felt more dominant. He felt like an X factor to the match. Finn's selling was fantastic. I always enjoy Finn, even if he's winning or losing. He just brings out a great match for me, for himself. He always looks good. But it was very weird that they had a hot tag for Kurt Angle, who, let's not lie about this anymore. Kurt Angle has lost his pace a bit, quite a bit. And I know that Corey Graves was like, oh, Kurt Angle's got, he's unlike other athletes like his age. He's still got his pace. I was like, no, he doesn't. He's lost a step, Corey. Speed-wise, in the ring, In the ring, I'm sure he's still got he's mentally able to keep up with everyone, but physically, you can tell it's taken a lot more strain for him. Drew McIntyre was entertaining. Bobby Lashley was really good. Baron Corbin was really good as well, surprisingly. For the heel faction, the heels played it really well. Lio Rush got involved in the match a few times. Finn Balor tried to take him out. Before Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley took him out. Then Braun Strowman took himself out by taking out Lio Rush, and that was great because then you had Bobby Lashley spear Finn Balor and pin him, which allowed him to get the victory over the current Intercontinental Champion, which gives him most likely a chance at the title again. And it allowed the heel faction, who will play another part in the show tonight, to get big momentum for a big match which is coming up at FastLane. So it kind of made sense, but because the match wasn't, you didn't get much Braun Strowman. He took himself out for the majority of the match, and Curt isn't a hot tag anymore. It kind of, for me, damaged the match itself quite a bit. The match itself was reasonable amount of time, but let's be honest, the best part about the heel faction is Drew McIntyre. But I just wish Drew and Bobby Lashley and others had a lot more, it just felt like they're quite lost right now. I know they've got a FastLane pay-per-view match coming up now. We will talk about that later on. But it just feels like going to WrestleMania, I think there's no real direction of where these guys are going to be when it gets to the biggest show of the year. So we'll have to wait and see. But for me, I'm going to give this a 2.5 stars. I think the heels did a fantastic job, but the chemistry in the match just felt a bit rushed for my liking. Next up, we had Natalya versus Ruby Riott. You remember a few years ago when we had that hashtag Give Divas a Chance? Yeah, obviously this match missed that memo because, my God, this was a 3-minute match and it was pointless. Corey Graves and Michael Cole and Renee Young spoke about how Natalya and Ruby Riott feel like they've got unfinished business from what happened last week, and I just went, really? We feel like this is like this is unfinished business? Natalya got Ruby to tap out to the sharpshooter quite soon after the match started. It was 3 minutes. The Riott Squad tried to get involved, but it wasn't as effective. Just a waste of time. It was a waste of Natalya and Ruby Riott. I know you can't say that because, let's be honest, any TV time for a superstar is time. It's perfect. It gets them on stage. It allows fans to remember that they're there. But when it's a 3-minute match, is there any point? Is there any point for these superstars? I'd rather not have Natalya and Ruby Riott on TV for a week and let them have at least 10 minutes, a proper 10-minute match, if it allows, double the time, triple the time, if we're going to have a proper match. Not this 3-minute matches, which is a Divas match. I'm getting a bit annoyed with that. So I give this a 1.5 star. Waste of your time, guys. Just fast forward it because it's not worth watching. Next up, we had Triple H's address to Batista after his attack to the Nature Boy Ric Flair on his birthday last week. Triple H had a message. Batista had a video message from his Instagram where he said, I wasn't going to go to Philadelphia because I hate Philadelphia. Very much a heel promo. Triple H just pretty much calls him on it. It goes, I'm not playing about, you tell me where you're going to be, tell me where and we'll do this man to man. No characters, no nothing, I'm going. And it was a really great promo. Triple H talked about Ric Flair. Not Ric Flair the man, not the character, the man who plays Ric Flair. And I thought that was just, it was on Richard. He wasn't calling him Rick, he was calling him Richard. And I thought that was really like, oh. And it was great. It blurred the line between characters and real life stories, and you saw the emotion, especially after Ric Flair's heart attack, going into comas and stuff like that. You just go, oh man, that was a really good. And this is the thing: Triple H can turn from heel to face, and you just when it's a story like this and it's well put together, like it can be. this could be a great WrestleMania match. Let's be honest, it is going to be a WrestleMania match, but it's such a great way of storytelling. Batista's not going to be there. He's got a busy schedule as it is, and him going to WrestleMania to take on Triple H is a guaranteed match. It's a guaranteed money-making match, in my opinion. But because they talked about it like that, like, it's not a match, it's not about these characters, it's about us. I thought, oh, that's such a good that's smart from both Batista and Triple H. Blur the lines, make it feel as realistic as possible, and you'll hook the fans in. Us marks who absolutely love it, and those ones who are cynical and all that lot, they will love it as well. And I thought this is what WWE did really well last night, was blurring the lines between everything. With the Dean Ambrose announcement, with the Ronda Rousey thing, which we'll talk about later on, and with this promo, I thought when they blurred the lines, they did it really, really well last night. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. I thought it was just showing Triple H at his best when it comes to promos. Next up, we had a gauntlet match. This was Heavy Machinery taking on the Ascension, the B Team, and Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins. This for me was, if they said we're having a gauntlet match and the winner will be going on to be number one contender, I would go, brilliant, tag team match has a purpose for the titles in the future. Makes sense. Nope, we don't get that, we get this. So pretty much, Heavy Machinery again an interview, they go, oh, by the way, the interviewer goes, we got backstage footage of other tag teams talking about you, and they don't seem to be too happy, and they talk about it, and it's the Ascension pretty much saying how much they are sick and tired of NXT call-ups getting all these opportunities, while those veterans have been here for a long time, and we're not getting any opportunities. The other teams don't really agree as much, but they do like to take the mick out of, in a you can tell in a like a jokey kind of way, of Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery go off and they go to the McMahons and ask for a gauntlet match so that they feel better. Yes, there's no title match, and Heavy Machinery destroy everyone in this match, but for what purpose? Yes, you're making Heavy Machinery look like a tough team, but they're taking on the bottom of a barrel of tag teams on Raw. And let's be honest, that's the majority of the tag teams on Raw, because the tag team division on Raw has no purpose right now. And we will talk about the tag team title match tonight as well, because they do have one. But every other team, apart from possibly 3, don't feel like they actually have a purpose. So I'm going to give this 2 stars. Mainly because it was a gauntlet match, it was interesting. They could have used it to make a number one contender, but no, they've just wasted an opportunity and wasted some time just for a segment over people's feelings getting hurt. Next up, we had Elias versus Dean Ambrose. Now, like I said, during our whole night, both Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns went to see Dean about reforming the Shield, saying, look, you can sit with me. Roman even went into the back and went, look, I didn't see you in the changing room. You know you've got a seat with me always in the changing room. And Dean's like, no. And it was interesting. It was like a mixture between reality and, storytelling. Like I said, they mentioned Dean leaving the company in April. And that's, WWE don't advertise that stuff unless it's going to be worked into a storyline. I honestly, right now, as this is going on with the Shield reforming for FastLane and everything else, I honestly think this is going to be Dean not going. I think he's going to have a breakaway for a while, come back, be a surprise return, and do his own thing again. I think he'll be a babyface when he returns, but I don't think he's actually leaving the company for full time. I think he will have a break. But yes, the match between Elias and Dean Ambrose, it wasn't anything too particularly special. Literally the highlight of the whole match was the end of the match. Elias and Dean's have no chemistry. I'm not gonna lie. Their movesets are so similar, it's unbelievable. So it's like watching 2 guys who are very, very close. It's like watching 2 Kung Fu masters who studied the same techniques for years and years, taking each other on, and it's like a stalemate, and that's how it felt. Dean did lose to Elias. It's nice to see Dean still putting over talent, which is fine. I don't mind Dean Ambrose losing to guys like Elias because it gives Elias a bit of a rub, in my opinion. But then Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns come out. They see Dean. Dean does not want to have anything to do with them. He starts walking off. And then Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin come out and they challenge. They go, well, we're going to challenge the Shield, but it looks like that's not going to happen because you're just savage dogs just trying to get the last piece of meat, which is around our table because we run Raw. They go after both Seth and Roman. Dean comes chasing down. They all start beating up on the heel team, and it's made official after the beatdown. And then after they beat each other down, both Roman, Seth do the Shield fist bump. Dean's like, and then you can hear Seth go, just do it, come on, do it, Ambrose. And Ambrose just puts his fist in. We have the Shield reunion, which, you know, if Dean is going great, this is great. I actually like this. This was the best part of Raw for me because I'm still a massive Shield fan, so this was awesome for me. And then pretty much made the announcement, FastLane, 6-man tag team match, the Shield versus Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley at FastLane. I'm excited. I think that could be a really good match, and it's a good way to get Roman into a pay-per-view match without him having to do a lot of heavy lifting. So for me, I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to give it a 3 star. I did originally give it a 2.5 star, but I think the reunited Shield is a better factor for the whole show. Next up, we had Tamina, complete with Nia Jax, taking on Sasha Banks, and she was with her tag team partner Bayley. As we know, we're going to have a women's tag team title match at FastLane between Bayley and Sasha Banks, taking on Tamina and Nia Jax. Bayley won against Nia Jax last week. This week we got the reverse match between Sasha Banks and Tamina, and there's no chemistry. I don't understand this. I don't understand why the first title defense for the brand new women's tag team match is against two teams who have no chemistry. I've not seen any chemistry so far between Tamina, Nia Jax, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. I just can't understand where this is coming from. It was a simple match. Tamina won, by the way. She won because Nia Jax got involved a few times. Bayley got taken out as well. Sasha Banks tried to take out Nia Jax. She did manage that, but when she got back in the ring, Tamina was already there. Super kick to the face. 1, 2, 3. Tamina and Nia Jax gets the win. They finally got a win over one half of the women's tag team champions. I honestly, still again, the women's matches, if it's not the main storyline, which is the Raw women's title match, every match on Raw for the women's division just felt wasted. It felt absolutely wasted on Raw this week. I'm going to give this a 1.5 star. Again, I just can't see, apart from the Raw women's title match at WrestleMania, any other match being that important for WWE for the women's division, and that's a shame. I had to stop myself from swearing there because it is a bloody shame. I've been invested so much into this, and I'll get into it when I talk about the main event of the show tonight, but my god, it's just a waste of time again. Next up, we had the Raw Tag Team Championship match where we saw the Revival taking on Aleister Black and Ricochet. Yes, that's right, Ricochet and Aleister Black, who did pin the Raw Tag Team Champions, got an opportunity. So why didn't Johnny Gargano or, Tommaso Ciampa, who also pinned the Raw Tag Team Champions, get an opportunity? Interesting that. The match itself was very, very short. It didn't really get time to really get on to full gear because I reckon these two teams would have absolutely brilliant chemistry, like we did see when Ricochet and Aleister Black took on the Revival last week. They have great chemistry. It just feels like they didn't have enough time, because by the time the match really started it felt like, it might start going. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable were already outside the ring, and they decided to attack Dash Wilder Wilder while he was on the ground, which cost Ricochet and Aleister Black their match. They got into the ring, they started mouthing off, which looks like Bobby Roode is finally going to start turning heel, and Chad Gable, he can play a good heel character as well. We saw that on SmackDown, so having those two turn heel would be a nice change. And they started mouthing off, and Aleister Black and Ricochet took them out. And then they did this. The best bit about the whole bloody match wasn't even in the match, it was after the match got called off, was when Ricochet and Aleister Black both springboarded off the ropes and back into the ring, while Aleister Black does his folded leg thing and Ricochet does his Iron Man, Superman pose. My God, that was like the best bit. I was like, I showed that to a few of my friends today. I went, there you go, superheroes do exist. Their name's Aleister Black and Ricochet. So there you go. That was the best bit about the whole match. So I'm going to give us a 2 out of 5 star, because that bit saved it. It would have got a 1.5, but because they did something so cool, it upped it. It actually saved the bloody score. So yeah, 2.5, 2 out of 5 stars. 2 out of 5 stars. Then this moves us on to the last bit of the night, and this was for a contract signing for the Raw Women's Championship match for Fastlane. It was going to be Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was going to sign pretty much a contract saying that she will not sue WWE if she gets injured during the match, get any more injured or anything breaks or anything during her match against Charlotte for the Raw title. So is Charlotte and Becky now officially members of the Raw roster? Are they allowed to do it? Because Becky's entrance still says SmackDown and Charlotte still says SmackDown Superstar. So they are SmackDown Superstars. So why are they getting involved in the Raw Women's title? I know they both, Becky selected the Raw title when she won the Royal Rumble, but Charlotte got handpicked into that match at WrestleMania. So, but they are SmackDown Superstars. Is there going to be a trade for them? Because right now the brands are still separate, guys. There must be if there was actual GMs in charge of the bloody shows, I would have gone, hold on, they're my superstars. If you want them on your show and you want them going for your title, you're going to have to compensate me by giving me a superstar, or giving me Aleister Black or Ricochet. Actually, just give me both Aleister Black and Ricochet for Charlotte and Becky Lynch, and I'll be very happy. That's what I would have been like. But no, Becky signs the contract. Ronda Rousey comes out. This again, WWE, I don't know what you're doing with this bit. Ronda Rousey comes storming it. You see her backstage at the car park. I mean, you're just like, oh, alright, she's going to take a while. She finally gets there. And it's like, what's the point of that? You could have just had her just storm in after she signed the contract to the ring. You didn't have to show it in the car park. So she storms in. She tells pretty much Stephanie McMahon, the woman who's pretty much second in command of the whole WWE, to give her title back to her. Stephanie did, and pretty much we saw a heel turn Ronda Rousey in one scoop. She pretty much calls out everyone. She says that the company's fake. She can do whatever she wants because they're making too much money on her, and now she knows that she's not going to play nice anymore, and she takes out Becky Lynch. Wow, a heel turn. My God, actual character for Ronda Rousey. Yes, it was very scripted because screw the man and boo the woo. Wow, that was very scripted and you could tell, but it was actually good to see Ronda Rousey actually feel like a bit of a badass. I'm not a UFC fan, never have been, so I've never really seen Ronda Rousey fight in a UFC fight. But apparently on Twitter and everyone was saying, oh, this is the Ronda Rousey we've been waiting for since she signed with WWE. And I was like, what? A 3D character of a heel? Charlotte's been playing that character for a while now. Charlotte's really good at it. So now it looks like what we're getting at WrestleMania, which is very, very likely, is Becky Lynch versus Charlotte versus Ronda with 2 heels and 1 babyface, Becky Lynch. I like that idea. I like that Ronda Rousey is a heel now. I think it works better for her. And if the rumours are true and she's going at WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, she's leaving the company for a while because she wants to focus on being a family, That's fine. That's fine. It actually gives us some depth for a time. But that, you know, for me, it was like, oh, this is really cool. It feels scripted, and blurring the lines, calling it fake. Well done. You've already said that on Twitter. We've already seen that. So you WWE writers reusing what they've been saying on Twitter kind of spoils it a little bit. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 star. I still honestly am a bit annoyed that every other women's match and everything else in the women's division is getting absolutely screwed over for this one match. But if the match is getting better and better each time, I don't mind. But I still want other matches, women's matches, to be good. I still want put some attention on the other women. But yes, 3 out of 5 star. Ronda Rousey finally got me to enjoy something of hers, even though it was very much scripted. And there you go, guys. That was Raw for this week. What did I think? Well, I thought it wasn't as good as last week. Every match pretty much felt wasted. The Shield reunion is great. I'm happy about that. I'm happy about the Becky Lynch Charlotte Flair. If Becky wins at FastLane, she'll be added to the WrestleMania bit, so that's fine. And Triple H's promo was absolutely brilliant. So what am I going to give it as a score? Well, I'm going to give it a 2.5 star. I think it was an okay show, but it could have done a lot more with the actual matches, especially with the tag team and the women's division matches. But what was your favourite part of the show this week, guys? Leave it in the comments below. If you do like our videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that bell to keep notified. If you want to follow us on the old Twitter, it's at SmackTalkYouTube. If you want to follow me on the old Twitter, it's at Boise88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.